2017 marks the 100th birthday year of the world's greatest drummer and of course an American jazz icon. In this video I'm going to be doing my tribute through pictures that I took and stories of the great Buddy Rich. Now you have to remember Buddy passed away 30 years ago, so all the pictures that I took are between 45 and 30 years ago with the old film cameras that they had back then. So let's get started. This first picture is one that I took out of Downbeat magazine when the Slingerland Drum Company did their tribute to Buddy for being elected to the Downbeat Hall of Fame. And it was just very simple. It just said Buddy Rich Hall of Fame 74. So let's go over here. This is a picture of me and Buddy Rich back in 1977. This is at SeaWorld in Orlando. And of course I'll never forget that day because that was the day that I got an actual drum lesson from Buddy and he let me play on his drum set. So I'm going to tell that story a little later on. And over here I got a couple of tickets that I saved. Now you have to remember this photo album book I put together over 30 years ago. And I actually showed it to Buddy at one time. So let's turn the page and we'll look at this picture I took. This is 1973 over at the Holiday Inn in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. Connecticut was the state where I grew up. And as you can see in this picture, we got, of course, Buddy. I can see Lynn Baviano, who is a lead trumpet player, and Greg Hopkins, who did a lot of writing. I think that's Al Kaplan on the trombone. So another great concert that I saw back in '73. And let's take a look at this page here. Okay, we'll start with this picture. This is a picture, of course, of one of Buddy's best friends of all time, Mr. Gene Krupa. This is a picture of me and Gene Krupa back in 1972. Incredible. And another picture of me with my younger brother Glenn with Gene Krupa. And I remember this concert, Gene had his big band, which was rare because back then he mostly played with his jazz quartet. But the Connecticut Jazz Society wanted him to bring a big band, which he did, and I saw that concert. And you can see the little camera bag right there, because this is all done with the old cheap Kodak Instamatic camera. Now let's go over here. This is my very first meeting with Buddy. This is 1970. And as you can see, I'm having Buddy Rich autograph a book that I brought. This was a book that my father gave to me. And it was called Super Drummer, a profile of Buddy Rich. And he was just so nice to me, and I have the actual book I'm going to show right now. This is the actual book right here. And I'll just turn this here so you can see how he autographed it for me right there. There it is. 1970. How about that? And of course this book came out in '68, so it's 49 years old. And there I am, back in 1970. I was like 14 years old. And there's Buddy with his towel because he just finished his first set. And there he is just signing it for me. And this is a picture I took of one of Buddy's best friends. Of course, the great Louie Bellson. This is at Disney World in Orlando. Just amazing. And of course, there is the picture of me and Gene Krupa back in '71. And of course, I got his autograph right here, which I put in. And I got this picture from Downbeat magazine when Slingland put an ad of Buddy and Gene, of course, endorsing Slingland drums. Okay, now for the next page, we have another picture of me and Buddy. This is a great shot of Buddy's best friend, Louie Bellson. There's me, and the person on the left is my father, the man who really got me interested in drums, and he took me to see Buddy and Count Basie and Oscar Peterson and Stan Getz, Tito Puente. I mean, I learned music because of my father, who took me to see all these great artists. That was the best way to learn, from actually watching. Took me to see Miles Davis and so many great artists, man. That was an incredible era that these guys were still alive, and I able to see all these great jazz artists because of my dad right here. And this person right here, Leon Marion, he was a jazz trumpet player, and he played for both Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich in the 40s. And really, I got my start into playing with live big bands, with his big band. And there's a picture of me with the Leon Marion Big Band. Just an incredible person, and I learned so much about how to play with a big band with him. So let's go over to this next page. I got a few more pictures of Buddy's best friends, Louie Bellson. Yeah, I believe this is over at Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And of course I showed him this album, and he signed it for me. Ken Loomer, a great player and friend. And I tell you, this guy, Louie Bellson, was so nice. When I told him I wanted to start a big band, but I had no charts, what do you think this guy did? He sent me some of his charts. Unbelievable. What a guy. And I actually played it with my big band, and they were on YouTube. So if you put in Ken Loomer, Louie Bellson charts, you'll be able to hear it. Now this picture here is the very first time I ever saw Buddy Rich, thanks to my father. It was in 1969 in Hartford, Connecticut. And this was the first picture I took with a Kodak Instamatic camera, one right up in front. Took the picture, and as you can see, Buddy was playing the 4x14 snare drum, the chrome over wood BR model. And that was the first time I ever saw a big band live, and I just could not believe it. And especially with Buddy driving the band, I became a lover of big band music because of that first concert. It was his music that I became a huge Buddy Rich fan. The music really got to me. To hear those incredible musicians, those arrangements, and the way he played it to make the music just so exciting to hear. That's what did it. Thanks to my dad, that first concert in '69. And I believe since that first concert, I must have saw him at least 100 times. So, and I'm so happy I did take a lot of pictures, and I actually did some recording too. And now this picture here is when Buddy let me play on his drums, when I got an actual drum lesson from Buddy. He was playing at SeaWorld in 1977, and the great thing about playing at SeaWorld, you get to see two shows. He did a 2 o'clock show, and he did a 7 o'clock show. So after the 2 o'clock show, of course, he had some time to kill. I went to talk to Buddy, and I showed him some pictures I took of him. And then I surprised him. I had under my sweater, I had a pair of drumsticks I took him out. I said, Buddy, you got some time now. How about a drum lesson? And his manager, I think his name is Steve Peck, was there. He says, he got you there, Buddy. And like the great man that he is, Buddy says, okay, Ken, to the drums. So I got an actual lesson from the man, and of course I'll never forget that. And here's another picture of me with Buddy. I believe this is in 1975. You can see Buddy was just so relaxed. He's so happy to meet the young people because he wanted to bring the music to the young people, and I told him how much his music meant to me, and he was always so happy to talk with me, and I learned so much from this master about how to play in a band. And as you can see, this jacket he wore was the American Karate Association jacket. Of course, Buddy was a black belt, and he really loved studying karate, and he said it helped with his health and keep his mind fresh, and he just loved doing this hobby, which was karate. So that's me. And this picture here, this is me with Warren Covington, who was one of the leaders of the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, which I got a chance to play with, and he also had the rights to the Pied Pipers from the Dorsey Band, so I used to do those shows with him. So I learned a lot about big band drumming from this man who played trombone, great trombone player. I believe he was because those were ghost bands, you know, and you had to have the rights from the Tommy Dorsey estate to have that name, but I was lucky enough to do a lot of concerts with this great artist. So we go to this page over here, and this is from a concert Buddy did at Mark Anthony's Jazz Club in West Hartford, Connecticut. I believe this is 1975, and I think in 76 I showed Buddy this picture, and he autographed this for me to Ken, Buddy Rich. Just a great, great, great artist, and that band was something else. So let's go over here. Now this picture here is a friend of mine sent me this picture. It's Buddy with Gene Krupa and Don Osborne, who was the president of Slingerland Drum Company. This is 1973. So you're looking at the two greatest artists of Slingerland drums, Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich. Now here is a picture of Buddy with Johnny Carson on the Tonight Show, and I took this picture right off of my TV. I just took the picture out right out. I used the camera on my TV. You know, of course, it's not the greatest quality because, like I said, it's old film, and I just took the picture right off the TV. And I showed these to Buddy, and he absolutely loved it. So the next time I saw him, I had a couple of these enlarged 8x10, and I gave it to him, and he absolutely thanked me, and he just loved it, and he says, I'm going to put it on my band bus. So that's what he did. Now here's another picture over here. This is 1980, and this is over at the Bayfront Hotel in St. Petersburg, Florida, and of course that's the great Steve Marcus. And some of this concert audio is on YouTube because I recorded a concert and it had incredible audio. And this guy, Cloudview, he posted some of the audio from this concert, so you can check it out. All you have to do is put in the Bayfront Hotel, Buddy Rich, and you'll be able to hear this concert which I recorded. And I'm so happy so many people did record his band because his music is just so incredible. I'm so happy that it's still being heard today. Now this picture was in 1986, was the last time I ever saw Buddy. 1986. And when I went backstage to see Buddy. I gave him a letter which I wrote to him. Of course, I didn't know that about 6 months later he would have passed away, but I gave him the letter and I expressed my love for him and the fact that I became a big band fan because of him. And I told him what I was impressed the most was the way he played with the band, and he brought the level of the music so much higher. And after Buddy read the letter, he told me it was one of the best fan letters he ever had, and gave me a big hug. And of course I had this album with me, and he signed it for me right there. Didn't know that this would have been our last meeting together, but I'm so happy that his music still lives on, and there are so many tributes now to his 100th birthday year. And here is me with Ed Shaughnessy, again one of Buddy's closest friends. I believe this was like 1989. The great Ed Shaughnessy. Again, these are pictures that I took right off the TV of Ed Shaughnessy, and he was nice to sign this photo album for me. So let's go to the last page of this album. And this picture is very rare. This picture, let me show you this woman right here. Her name is Connie Haynes, and back in the 40s, the big bands would always have a girl and boy singer. Connie Haynes was the girl singer for this picture is 1940 of the 1940 Tommy Dorsey Band. Of course, right there's Frank Sinatra, and there's Buddy just playing the cymbal. And of course, you have Tommy Dorsey on trombone, and I know that's Ziggy Elman on trumpet. And I got to work with Connie Haynes because of my playing with the Dorsey Band, and I was her drummer for about 10 years. And here's a couple of pictures of me after her concerts that I've done with her. That's me, Connie Haynes. And she lived in Clearwater Beach, Florida. And a few times she invited me to her house. And I saw some amazing pictures of Connie with the Dorsey Band. And this one picture that she had, a huge blow-up picture of a 1941 New Year's Eve party. And in the picture was Buddy sitting down on the drums. On the left side of Buddy was Frank Sinatra, and on the right side was Connie Haynes. And it was from a 1941 New Year's party. But she also had on the wall her performances. She had a picture with her with President Kennedy, President Johnson, President Nixon, and one with President Reagan. So I actually learned a lot about how to back up a singer because of the great Connie Haynes. She lived to be 88, and she sang right up until she was 88. And I believe she passed away about 6 years ago. So the number of people that I met because of being a drummer is just unbelievable. Now we go to this last picture in this album. This is Buddy in 1973 at the University of Connecticut. Now what I remember about this concert was Buddy, he had a big kind heart, and he helped a fellow drummer, Sam Woodyard. He was kind of like a little bad in his luck, he told me, so he hired Sam to play conga drums for this tour. And in one number, Buddy said, hey, I'm going to have Sam Woodyard play a number with the band, and Buddy then played conga drums. And then when Buddy took his solo on congas, it was just unbelievable. He just tore up the entire place. Man, you talk about a guy that can play congas. He was just unbelievable. So that's another special night I'll never forget. And all these stories that I have because of this incredible artist will be with me forever. So let's go to the second photo album I have. And let me see. So here we go. This, okay, I remember this concert. 1975 at Lake Compounds, Connecticut, inside this big band show. And when they had a lot of the great big bands would show up. I did see Gene Krupa's big band 1971 one time at this band show in Lake Compounds, Connecticut. And okay, here's a picture I took of Buddy's drums. This is his Ludwig kit. This is 1980. And you can see he's playing the super sensitive on this. And he had a syndrome that he used for about 3 months. He was trying it out. You can see that syndrome right near the floor toms. So that's a side view that I took of his drums. And of course that's me standing right in front of his drums. Let me see, with this picture, okay, this was another concert, a high school concert. I don't remember which high school. I saw so many. I know that's Wayne Pittsworth on the bass. You can see Steve Marcus. And I know that's Glenn Frank on the trombone doing his solo. Another picture from another concert. And there's the great Steve Marcus. And of course there's a picture of me with Steve Marcus, one of the nicest and most brilliant tenor saxophone players you ever want to hear. This guy played at the same level as Buddy, I think. Always swinging, great ideas, just a super guy. Gonna miss him. And this one was at the Bayfront Hotel. This picture. This picture I took, this is from 1977, his Killer Force days. And that was one incredible band. I can see Barry Kiner. It was the first time Barry Kiner was playing with the band. There's Steve Marcus standing up doing his solo. And that's Tom Warrington on bass. This at, I believe, another concert at Lake Compounds in Connecticut. Just an unbelievable band. And another picture I took of Buddy's 1980 Ludwig Drum Set. Another shot from that 77 Killer Force big band he had. He's talking to the audience. Of course, that was one of the fun parts of any Buddy Rich concert, when he talked to the audience. You know, 10-15 minutes he would do an entire show. He was like one of the best comedians you ever want to hear. Just unbelievable. And there he is at it again at another concert, talking with the audience. And I remember this concert. This was at the Bayfront Hotel. Buddy was in a great mood. And before the concert even started, he was in the audience. So as soon as I saw Buddy, I said, "Come on over to the table." Of course he did, and we had a nice talk. And he was telling me he was playing a lot of new charts. So he wanted to have me let him know what I thought of the new charts. I believe this is one of the first times they ever played Good News. Alright. And there's another shot. You can see Barry Kiner at the piano. This is Killer Force Band. Let's go over to this page. Yeah. From the Bayfront Hotel. Andy Fusco on the alto. Incredible player. This is another concert. There's one thing about us drummers. I know whenever Buddy was like in New York City, I'm sure there were a bunch of drummers that would follow him wherever he go, or Boston or L.A. So whenever he was in Florida, take the car and follow him and check him out. All these different concerts. There's another different concert. Here he had the guys all wear suits. This concert he had the guys just wear, I guess, black shirts. Yeah. And here's a shot I took of Buddy at the end of a concert, and he's heading for the band bus. There he goes. I got this shot. Heading out the door. Hitting the road. I mean, this guy did around 300 dates per year. Unbelievable. Like I said, I saw him for about 100 times. Look at a guy like Steve Marcus, who played with Buddy for 12 years. Let's say 300 dates a year for 10 years. That's 3,000 concerts right there that he saw. 3,000. Now this picture is hard to see, but this is the Buddy Rich Big Band at SeaWorld, 1977, and I saw them in 78, and they had a floating stage. And of course they would move the stage, and that's where they have the whale, killer whale shows and the dolphin shows, but that's where Buddy's big band would play at SeaWorld. Like I said, he'd do 2 shows. 2 o'clock show, 7 o'clock show, man. Incredible. It's another shot from another concert. So let's turn the page, see what we got here. Yeah, this one I got a good close-up of Buddy, and you can see on his ride cymbal, all the tape he had it, because he liked a dry ride cymbal, so each of the band members will be able to hear his ride beat nice and clean and clear. He did not like a washy cymbal. And here's a good shot I took. A side view of his, this is, I think, was 1981, of his Ludwig drum kit. Now I asked Buddy, I said, how come you're using a Slingerland drum throne? And he said, because it's more comfortable than the Ludwig. As simple as that. So even though he was with Ludwig drums, he didn't use the Ludwig throne. Now this was his Slingerland throne that he used for 10 years. And that thing has been all over the world, thousands and thousands of gigs. And that's what he used. You can see the Ludwig super sensitive snare. And you can see that's one of the first times using this 22-inch switch knocker. Another shot of Buddy talking to the audience. Always great. Another concert over here. Another shot. I believe this is a high school gig that he did. This page, okay, I must have took some pictures of the, this is at the Bayfront Hotel again. This is another high school gig. Now this is unusual. You see, look, Buddy's wearing a jacket, but he let the guys, no jackets, just a shirt. Huh. Okay, there's Buddy. He's wearing some kind of a yellow blazer there. And the guys on this one all wearing jackets. Andy Frisco again, alto sax. Let's turn this over here. The great Steve Marcus. And here's a side view I took of Buddy at one concert. And here's a close-up picture I took of his drum set from the back. There's that Ludwig Super Sensitive, that Slingerland drum throne. That's the setup. Now this picture, man, this is they even marked it. December 70. concert I saw. This is a Holiday Inn in Hartford, Connecticut. I think this is a better picture. Remember, this picture is like 45 years old, 46, 47 years old. And there's it's like Paul Cangella on the bass there. I recognize him. Of course, Buddy was playing that 4x14 BR snare drum, which sounded incredible. And there's, you can see the great Pat LaBarbera. Here's another concert I took. This one says September '71. I believe this is in Windsor Locks, Connecticut, at a hotel somewhere. I can see Lynn Bolviano, lead trumpet, Buddy. And this picture, yeah, one of the concerts, Buddy let me get backstage. He said, "All right, Ken, go ahead." So I took this picture because I wanted to see his feet. I wanted to see his feet in action, because he had incredible foot control. So he let me backstage. And this one was this is in the okay, this had to be '73 at a high school in Connecticut somewhere. You can see Greg Hopkins, Lynn Belviano, there's Pat LaBarbera. And let me see, there's another concert I took of Buddy, and this is right in the middle of his drum solo. The moment everybody always waited for. And here's a picture of, okay, '71. Okay, this is me and my best friend, Brad Wells, from high school. And look at how we dressed back then. Coat and tie, and of course I was wearing a turtleneck and jacket, going to a Buddy Rich concert. There we are. He was a year ahead of me, so he had a car, so I used Brad's car, and we would go off and go see Buddy if he was in the area. And let's turn the page here. Okay, we got some more Buddy Rich concerts I went to. There's Pat LaBarbera. I don't know where this one was. It had to be in the early '70s. There he is. Now this is over at Lake Compounds. It's hard to see. That's Gene Krupa with his big band, 1971. And it's another shot of me and Buddy. And you saw a picture of my best friend Brad Wells. Here we are. This is 1972 at our high school in Windsor, Connecticut. We're doing our big drum duet. Now, Slinglin sold a lot of drums because of Buddy, and there, two examples right there. That's me. I had the 22-inch bass drum, and he bought his with the 24. Of course, I later bought one 24-inch BR kit in '77. And I have videos of me playing this kit on YouTube. I still kept it in brand new condition. You can see it. So there we are, doing our drum duet. And another picture of me playing on Buddy's set. Another great concert I saw of Buddy, this one, '71. And there's, I got a good shot of Buddy right there. Remember, these are with the old Kodak Instamatic cameras. Can you imagine if we had cell phones back then with the digital photos and taking videos? Can you imagine that? I'm so happy I took these pictures. And there's another concert I took. Picture of Buddy on the side. Another shot from that concert, I believe. And this is Buddy again when he's playing SeaWorld in Orlando. Of course, Buddy's best friend, Louie Bellson. This is at Disney World in Orlando. One of the nicest guys you ever want to meet, the great Louie Bellson. And this picture didn't come out too good. It was another concert of Buddy. Had to be in the 70s. Another picture of me with Buddy talking, and I'm showing Buddy this article of a review of his band. Every time I saw Buddy, anytime I saw a review or an article about him, I would bring it and show it to him. And it was like reading, because he did care about his band, the way it sounded, and he wanted to have the best product possible on stage. And this picture right here is my father in the 30s playing his Slingling Radio King set. Of course, back then the bottom toms were always tacked. They did not have fully tunable toms until the late 30s. That's my dad. The reason why I'm a huge music lover is because of this man right here. Like I said, he took me to see Count Basie and Oscar Peterson, Miles Davis, and the list goes on and on and on. And let's go to the last page here. Okay. Now this picture right here is from when I saw Buddy at Buddy's place in New York City. This is, I believe, July of 1974. Now the great story behind this is it was me and 3 other drummers of the summer of 1974. We wanted to see Buddy, so we took an Amtrak train from Hartford, Connecticut to Grand Central Station. We rented a room at the YMCA. And during the day, we would go around New York City. We went to Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty. We went to see the New York Yankees. Then, of course, at night, it was on to Buddy's place. And I can remember going up those steep flight of stairs. I called it the Stairway to Heaven, that Led Zeppelin song. And at the very top, I think we met Stanley Kay, who was running the place. I said, we got 4 people, front tables please. Of course, in 74 I was 20 years old and I looked like I was 12. So I had to immediately show the ID. Luckily it had to be 18. I just made it, but I looked like I was 12 years old. So there we were. I mean, watching the master and that great band, and you never know who's going to show up at Buddy's place. I think one time we saw Cathy Rich, and I think she was singing with 3 other girls. And of course she had that charisma, and I mean, you couldn't take your eyes off of her. She did a great job. And like I said, you never know who was going to come in. And one time we saw Joe Williams from the Count Basie band came in. His Buddy was so happy to see him. And I'll show you these pictures. The next guy who came in, who I actually get to work with, the great comedian Charlie Callas. He came in that night in 74. Of course, he was funny as hell. He was a great drummer. And this is a picture with me with Charlie Callas in 1994. I mean, I would have never known that 20 years later I would have worked with this guy. He always had a jazz band when he did his show in Florida and called me up. This is Ken put together band. And there's a nice picture of me with Charlie Callas. Always funny. There we are backstage, working out on the drum pad. Of course, I first saw Charlie Callas on the Johnny Carson show. You know, if you remember that big drum battle with Ed Shaughnessy, I think it was 1978, Charlie Callas was on that show. And of course, Charlie was a great close friend of Buddy Rich, and I became a good friend. And I would never know, he would just call me on the spur of the moment, start telling me jokes, and like I said, the people that I got to meet because of being in this business is unbelievable. Now this last picture right here, this is my big band. And I just want to let Buddy know that in his honor, I will always play his music, because it was always about the music first. And like I said, I became a big band lover because of Buddy and his music. So in this day and age where it's so rare to have a drummer lead a big band, and it's so rare to have any big band in concert, I'm trying to do my best to keep his music alive and to keep the music in the same tradition as Buddy, to try to play at its best. Of course, in my concerts, I only get one shot at playing my charts, since this is not a road big band. But I'm trying to do my best, and I have, man, it must be around 400 videos of this big band. So please check it out, please support it. I need all your help. And in this year of 2017, Buddy will never be forgotten. And I'm so happy to see, like on YouTube, Cathy Rich did a great concert over at Ronnie Scott's with drummers Greg Potter and Dave Weckl. And to hear these great charts with the real Buddy Rich Big Band is such a treat. I know the Jazz Lincoln Center Orchestra did a tribute to Buddy, and I'm doing the same thing. I've already posted some concerts I did in tribute to Buddy, and I have some more already booked. So please check out this great master who's on YouTube. We all can learn from this man. But for me, it will always be about the music, and I'm trying to keep it alive. So thank you for watching this tribute of the great Buddy Rich on his 100th year of his birth. So let's celebrate his music and this great American jazz icon. So this is Ken Loomer saying, keep on swinging and listening to this great big band music.